Most people think every new Harley release is about louder styling and bigger presence. But when I started digging into the Harley-Davidson Sturgis 2026, what surprised me was how much the focus seems to be shifting toward ride quality and everyday usability, not just show bike energy. I've ridden and compared enough Harleys over the years to notice when something changes direction. The Sturgis name itself carries weight, tied to rally culture and big V-twin tradition, so I expected a nostalgia-heavy cruiser. Instead, the vibe I'm getting from the 2026 version feels more refined and practical, almost like Harley is trying to bring classic attitude into modern riding habits. One mistake people often make is assuming bikes like this are only for weekend parade rides or rally appearances. But looking closer, I think Harley understands many riders now want one bike that can handle longer trips, city rides, and still look special parked outside a cafe. The practical takeaway? If you're shopping for a cruiser, don't just look at horsepower numbers or chrome parts. Comfort and ride balance matter more once you're actually living with the bike every day. Something else I noticed is how Harley seems to be dialing in suspension and ergonomics lately. Older cruisers sometimes felt like they sacrificed comfort for stance. The Sturgis 2026 seems to correct that, giving riders a more supportive seating position without losing the low, muscular silhouette people expect. And honestly, most people miss how important that is. A bike can look perfect in photos, but if your back or wrists hurt after 45 minutes, the excitement fades quickly. Harley appears to be targeting riders who actually ride long distances, not just pose. Here's a useful tip. When checking out a cruiser, sit on it longer than you think you need to. Imagine 2 hours on the highway. Can you move around? Can you stretch your legs? That matters more than flashy paint. Another interesting thing is engine character. Harley riders usually talk about torque feel rather than peak power, and from what I see, the Sturgis 2026 continues leaning into strong low-end pull rather than chasing sport bike numbers. Personally, I prefer that approach on cruisers. You don't want to constantly rev high. You want smooth, effortless acceleration when passing traffic or cruising through open roads. That relaxed power delivery fits the personality of a bike like this. The misconception here is that cruisers are slow or outdated. In reality, modern versions have more than enough performance for real-world riding. Most people never even use the full potential available. Practical takeaway: choose a bike whose power delivery matches how you ride, not what sounds impressive online. Now, let's talk styling, because the Sturgis badge brings expectations. What caught my attention is how Harley balances heritage cues with modern touches. The design still screams classic Harley, but subtle updates in lighting, wheel finishes, and detailing make it feel contemporary rather than retro. I compared it mentally with some recent limited Harley models, and the Sturgis seems less about flashy exclusivity and more about being a rider-focused special edition. That's actually refreshing. A common mistake riders make is chasing limited editions purely for resale or bragging rights. But if the bike doesn't suit your riding style, it becomes garage art. So here's the insight. Buy the bike you'll ride the most, not the one people online tell you is rare. Another area where I think Harley is improving is technology integration. Riders used to complain about modern electronics on cruisers, but now features like better ride modes, navigation integration, and rider aids are becoming normal expectations. The Sturgis 2026 looks like it's embracing that shift without overwhelming riders who prefer simplicity. You still get that mechanical Harley feel, just with smarter assistance behind the scenes. Most people don't realize how helpful modern rider aids are until they hit unexpected rain or rough roads. Subtle traction or braking assistance can save a ride from turning stressful. My takeaway here: technology isn't ruining the cruiser experience. Used right, it actually makes longer rides safer and less tiring. Let's also talk about price and ownership reality. Harley ownership is emotional, but budgets are real. I always compare what a bike offers not just in performance, but in long-term satisfaction. The Sturgis 2026 seems positioned as something special, but not so exclusive that you're afraid to ride it. That matters. Bikes are meant to accumulate stories, miles, and memories, not sit under covers. One misconception is that premium bikes must be protected investments, but the best value comes from actually riding them, not preserving resale numbers. My advice? Think about how often you'll ride, where you'll ride, and whether the bike excites you every time you see it in your garage. And here's something personal I've learned. Bikes like the Sturgis work best when they match a rider's personality. Some people want aggressive performance, others want relaxed cruising with strong road presence. When I picture the Sturgis 2026, I see a rider who enjoys long, scenic routes, weekend getaways, and the feeling of rolling into town on something with real character. At the end of the day, the Harley-Davidson Sturgis 2026 doesn't feel like a bike trying to prove anything. It feels like Harley refining what already works, making it more comfortable, more usable, and quietly better for modern riders. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I appreciate bikes that evolve without losing their soul.